Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today we are back on the 26 Oakland. This car's been down for a while. We had some problems that made me scratch my head for quite a while, but I finally figured it out and we're ready to move forward on this project. That'll be here in a little bit. We'll get into it. Let's watch the show intro. We'll see you in 27 seconds. If you don't want to watch it, just slide that little slider ahead. Don't go away. This is exciting. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
Well, a lot of you know that I have worked on a ton of these old cars. I actually worked on this stuff way back when I was in college, when I worked in the hot rod shop. We also worked on antique cars and classic cars and all of that. So this isn't my first rodeo, but it has been a hot minute since I've worked on one. So what happened was, back in July, we jumped in it to go for a little cruise, and it just started running terrible, like missing really bad, popping and farting, and the engine was banging and making all kind of noise. So I thought it was in the ignition system, and I said I didn't have time right then to deal with it, so we just pulled it in the shop and said I'd come back to it another day. So a few days later, I had some time, I came out. I figured it was a condenser. It acted just like a bad condenser. Started it up, it would run good for 30 seconds to a minute and then start popping and banging and farting just like a condenser loading up and shorting out. I called Wayne to see if he had another condenser. He didn't have any right then. He was having problems finding some. He's been getting the ones he's been getting were coming out of China, and he wanted somewhere else. So I started digging and doing my own research. I came up with a couple of different possible condensers I could use. Found a company that made them in Mexico, and got some of those. I actually found the original part number from Delco or whoever the heck it was way back in the day, Oakland anyway, and cross-referenced that over and got some standard ignition parts, Blue Streak parts that are made in Mexico. Swapped out the condenser, didn't make any difference. So I swapped out for another one, didn't make any difference. Swapped out for another one, didn't make any difference. So I'm thinking it can't be that many bad parts, but it kept scratching my head. So I started going through the whole system, the whole thing, and changed out the points again, changed out the condenser, put the original points and condenser back in. I changed the plugs out, put the new plugs in that I had never bothered to put in. I tried a couple different coils, everything to no avail. Now understand, this was a matter of not just a day. I was doing this over time between things here as I had some time. So this was a matter of a couple of months. So last week I finally said, all right, next step is pull the carburetor apart. I don't think it's carburation, but the one thing that I was thinking was, this is updraft. So if there was something wrong with the carburetor, it was flooding out, it might run good for a little bit until it sucks that fuel up.
Right?
I was on the right track. I pulled the carburetor all apart, cleaned everything. There's only 2 passages in this thing. It's the simplest carburetor on the planet. Nothing plugged, everything was good. Accelerator pump was working good. Put it all back together again. Start it up, it runs good for 30 seconds to a minute. It starts popping and farting and banging, and I'm standing here looking at it going, it's not carburation and it's not ignition. Maybe it's the valve. So I pulled the valve cover off, fired it up, watched the valves, everything's working, no sticky valves, plenty of oil in there. And so I'm sitting here going, it's got to be in the ignition. What else can it be?
Scratch my head, scratch my head.
I kept thinking, I'm missing something.
I'm missing something.
Let's pretend it's not in the ignition. Let's pretend it's not in the carburetor. Let's pretend it's not the valves. 99% sure it's not something mechanical. When we've eliminated everything that it can't be, all we have left is what it can be. And so I'm standing here looking down at this engine, looking everything over, going, all right, if it's not that carburetor, and it's not in the ignition, and it's not the coil, and it's solid core wires, and it's not the plugs, and it's not the valves, what else can it be? I'm just standing here looking at it, and I go, bingo, right there. Who knows what that is? I had missed the obvious. Now, you don't know what that is. That is the vacuum feed that feeds the fuel canister, or I should say, sucks on the fuel canister to draw fuel from the tank into this temporary reservoir, and then it gravity feeds down to the carburetor.
What happened was,
Pulled this line off, put my mouth on it and sucked, and I got a mouthful of gas. Now all of a sudden, everything makes sense. You start the car up, it's running good because it's drawing fuel from the carburetor, and then 30 seconds to a minute it takes to fill this reservoir back up with fuel, and it starts sucking fuel through this little vacuum line right into the intake, and starts running and popping and farting and banging like crazy, like it's missing, because it is, but it didn't act like a bad carburetor. It was just drawing raw fuel right into that intake manifold. So today's project, what we're gonna do is we need to pull this fuel canister apart and find out what's going on with the float and the needle and seat that's in here. Because what happens, the way this works is, vacuum draws, it sucks fuel into the reservoir, and there's a float in there that's supposed to close when it's full, and it shuts the vacuum off. But if that float isn't closing or that needle and seat isn't sealing, it just keeps sucking, and it overfills the canister and starts sucking fuel into the intake. And I proved it because I took this line off, started it up, and it runs as smooth as butter like it always does. And so that's the issue here. And it's been so long since I worked on one of these vacuum systems, I just didn't think about the fact that that could be an issue. So Dad's here now, he just pulled in, and we're gonna get after pulling this fuel reservoir off and show you what's inside and diagnose what the actual problem is, and hopefully we can just fix it and put it right back on the car today without having to get any parts. Okay, Dad showed up, so I immediately put him to work. Oops.
It's about time, right?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
That's because he was waiting on me. It wasn't that he wasn't willing to come. He's waiting for my stupid head to figure it out.
Summer vacation.
There you go. Oh my. And yes, we're using pliers because somebody else used pliers, and there's absolutely no head left on that nut, so we might cut that off and fix that while we're at it. Okay, so we got our canister off, and we need to take the top off and hopefully get it off of there without breaking. It's white metal. It's going to be a challenge, so we'll see what we can do.
White metal. Cool.
That way, if it's broke, you broke it. No go, huh? Don't stab your hand. Okay. Doesn't sound like the float is full, so that's good. And there's our needle and seat right there. Oh, interesting. That's the overflow. And that's the vacuum needle and seat right there. It's stuck.
Stuck open?
I think so. Is that the... Nope. Yeah, that's the one right there. Yep. Okay, we just gotta take things apart and clean it. And that is a threaded, 100% that's threaded, so we'll see if we can put another twist on that as well.
Okay.
But now we gotta figure out how to get this apart. Like that. Not like that at all, it's all swedged together. That little needle valve right there is not closing off for some reason. I gotta get the light over here. Okay, so this is the big float, and then it comes up and pushes this needle. This is for the vacuum, or for the vent. Then this one is for the vacuum, and this needle and seat here, this one isn't closing tightly, so we got to figure out why, and I'm not sure how to get this apart, so I got to go get a light so that we can attempt to pull that apart. Nice thing is everything is super clean, so that's good news. spin that if I could. There we go. Really hard to see anything with my big glowing hands in there. It's good. Taste of fuel and carburetor cleaner in the morning. Okay, I'm gonna get a vacuum pump and put on it, see if we can hold a vacuum. Okay, so we've got a whole vacuum apparatus hooked up here to check this needle and seat. I think we've got it cleaned up and it seems to be working now. So I'm using my air conditioning vacuum pump through the manifold gauge set that I have, kind of coupled together with some hoses, and then up here to the fuel unit. We're holding a good. This gauge is off, but we're holding vacuum, you can see. And I've got the needle valve shut right now. If we open this up, you can hear it suck maybe. So it seems to be working well. Okay, so this also has a canister here. I can't really see in there very well. There we go. All right, you can see all the slime and sludge and crap down in there, so I'm gonna clean that out, get that straightened up before we put it back in the car. The fuel comes into here, gets filtered out, and then goes in there and then drains out the bottom to the carburetor. So fuel comes in the top, goes into this canister where the float is. The float is just strictly to control how much gas comes in and the vacuum, and then it drains into the canister there and then out to the carburetor. So we got to clean that anyway. There's an alignment pin here that has to go in the right hole, and of course that float has to kind of fall down into its proper place also. If it doesn't go in, it won't go together like it's not right now. So that makes it fun. Another way to do this would be try this first. If that doesn't go down in that little hole, it ain't gonna work. I think what's going on is it's falling into those holes next to that hole. There it goes. There's holes on the sides, and I think it's going down in those, and it won't go down far enough. It has to go in the center hole. So, okay, now, and our little pintle hole is right here. So hopefully, and we did put a little anaerobic sealer on there, just to make everything go back together again and seal, hopefully. The cork gasket was actually still there. Okay, I think we're good. You can hear the vacuum or the float going up and down, so that's good.
don't see any fuel in the filter.
Yeah, for one thing, I forgot to turn the fuel on. So even if it had sucked some up, I forgot to turn the gas on too.
Oh,
But I seriously doubt that it has sucked any up yet. So we'll shoot a little carb spray in there just to give it a little
okay.
oomph. Turn it on. Trying to start. There it goes. We were right on the cusp. See it trickling in?
No.
It's just, you can see it just trickling a little bit. So
Oh,
it's sucked. It's sucked up. Yep.
Oh yeah, I see some.
Okay, now we should run. My guess is it's just going to take a while. Either that or we have a vacuum leak somewhere.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that.
I don't think we do, but we got a full bowl, so
Oh,
yeah, that's part of it. See, when I open the needle valve up here, fuel runs in, so it's working. It's just that the carburetor is not drawing any fuel, so it can't take any here. Because if there's no place for it to go, there's an air pocket here.
yeah, okay.
It was a little lean. No, it was a little. Yeah, it's opposite. It was a little lean, so I lifted it up. Well, it was really good to get back on this car and have Dad come out and get this fuel system fixed. I will say that when we were just coming back, the car quit, and not sure what happened. It just quit. We just kept rolling down the road and just let it coast into the driveway. We were that close, and it came to a stop. I started it up, and it started right back up again, but it's like it ran out of gas. So I'm gonna chalk that up as to maybe a fluke, because we tested the fuel system. There was still fuel in the reservoir. I don't know what happened, but Dad and I went ahead and took time to get it tuned back up again, set the timing properly, set the carburetor properly. It's running really, really good again, and so I think we're in good shape now. So we'll do the usual. We'll drive it here. The weather's nice. I'll probably take it out tomorrow a little bit, putz up and down the road, take Becky for a little cruise. I can't go too far because the plate expired, and I haven't gotten the permanent plate on it yet. So, but the car is insured. I don't think anybody's going to bother us for putzing up and down the road in front of the house. And we'll just put some more miles on it and see what happens. Well, that's going to do it for this one. If you haven't seen the other episodes on this car, by all means, please check those out. There's a whole playlist on this car from the time we had the engine torn down, putting valves in it. And we did all kind of stuff, and it's all here on the channel. So if you like these old cars, be sure to check that out. It's been a lot of fun, and looking forward to taking it to the next level. So what's coming next on this? We're going to start replacing this glass. Cars previous to 1930, basically previous 1940 from what I remember right, don't have safety glass. And these, well, this stuff will kill you. So we're going to get the glass replaced in this car. We're going to start by doing the ones in the door and just work our way around the car and get a local glass shop to cut the glass for us. Well, that's going to do it. We're over on the Face thing, / My Car Shop. We're here on the U thing, of course, / My Car Shop. We're on Instant Grandma. She loves us and gets us cookies and stuff like that, so be sure to check us out over there. That's / My Car Shop too. I bet that surprises you, doesn't it? We'll catch you on the next one. I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for all the love and the support and the encouragement. You guys are awesome. We've got tons coming on the Duster, tons more coming on the Challenger. We got that pickup truck that I'm doing the paint job on. We just got a lot of stuff going on. So, and some parts just showed up for Becky's 88 4x4. So there's going to be some stuff coming on that too. Hopefully she'll be driving that truck this year. All it needs is like some tires and a brake line, and well, maybe to have it all be one color, that might be nice too. So, all right, that'll do it. Oh, almost forgot. Rock!